Hi, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here is a science passing package of 10th standard which includes all the three aspects of science, chemistry, biology and physics. So it includes 100 questions with answers, which is very much important for your examination point of view. And in this passing package, the answers are very short, mean to say it is up to the point only, means only the keywords are given here, so which is very much easier to remember and study. So let's move on with the questions. First question, what is reflex action? So what is reflex action? Answer is a quick, sudden and immediate response to stimuli. A sudden immediate response to stimuli or a quick sudden immediate response to stimuli, we call it as reflex action. We'll move to the next question. What is synapse? A fine gap between successive neurons. A fine gap between successive neurons or a gap between successive neurons is nothing but synapse. Okay. So a gap between the successive neurons, we call it as synapse. The next one, write the functions of HCl in stomach. So hydrochloric acid in stomach which creates the acidic medium. So what is the role of HCl in stomach means? It creates the acidic medium and it kills harmful microorganisms. So it creates acidic medium and kills harmful microorganisms. So the next question, what are tropic levels? So tropic levels means it is each level of food chain. So in the food chain, successive levels or each level we call it as tropic levels, or energy levels or a food level we call it as tropic levels. Next question, what is reflex arc? So reflex arc means it is a pathway of reflex action. So what is reflex arc? So it is a pathway of reflex action is nothing but reflex arc. So the next question, what is 10% law? So 10% law means it is nothing but at each tropic level only 10% of energy is transferred. So easy to remember. So 10% law states that at each tropic level 10% of energy is transferred. So that we call it as 10% law. So the next question, write the steps involved during photosynthesis. So write the steps involved during photosynthesis. So the steps are like this: absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll, then conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. So splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Next one, reduction of carbon into carbohydrates. So what are the steps involved during photosynthesis? Means during photosynthesis, sunlight will be absorbed by chlorophyll, that is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. The second one, conversion of light energy. What light energy is absorbed, the sunlight is absorbed, will be converted into chemical energy. So then it splits the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Then the third one is reduction of carbon into carbohydrates. So the next question, what is transpiration? So transpiration means the process of loss of water from the aerial part of the plant body. So the process of loss of water from the aerial part of the plant body, we call it as transpiration. So transpiration is nothing but the losing of water molecules from the aerial part of the plant. Okay. The next, what is translocation? So translocation means the process of transport of soluble products of photosynthesis. So the process of transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is nothing but translocation. So in transpiration, the water will be transported. In translocation, the soluble products of photosynthesis means the food will be translocated. The next question, differences between reflex action and walking. We'll see what is the difference between reflex action and walking. Reflex action, it is controlled by spinal cord. So always remember that reflex action is controlled by spinal cord. So but walking, it is controlled by brain. Then reflex action, it is a fast process. Walking, it is a slow process. The next question, what is single circulation? Single circulation means the blood flows once through the heart. Single means only one time. So that the circulation in which the blood flows only once through the heart is single circulation. So double circulation means, what is double circulation? Write its advantages is given here. As single circulation, blood flows only once through the heart. In double circulation, the same blood flows twice through the heart. Double means twice or two times. A circulation in which blood flows through the heart twice, or the circulation in which the blood flows twice through the heart, is nothing but double circulation. What is its advantages? Double circulation advantages is, as it keeps the body temperature constant. The one, it keeps the body temperature constant, and the second one is it provides sufficient supply of oxygen. So it provides sufficient supply of oxygen. So they are the two advantages of double circulation. So this is about the first 12 questions. So we'll move on to the next question. So it is of physics part. So we'll see here, state Ohm's law. So as I told in the beginning only, this passing package includes all the three aspects together. So I'm not going to deal it separately. All together will be enclosed in one passing content. So state Ohm's law. Ohm's law, what is the statement? Usually it is most frequently asked question. State Ohm's law. So you have to state the law. At constant temperature, current flowing through a conductor is proportional to potential differences across its end. So at constant temperature, the current flowing through a conductor is proportional to potential difference across its end. So this is a Ohm's law statement. So for this, you can write the equation also. V is equal to IR. So V is equal to IR, where V is the voltage. Okay, so voltage is equal to I, it representing the current, R is the resistance. So at constant temperature, the current flowing through the conductor will be proportional to the potential differences of its across its end. Okay, so that is Ohm's law. The next one, state Joule's law. So these laws are all very important. For 1 mark they used to give. So please keep by heart or practicing this law. State Joule's law. Heat produced in a conductor is proportional to the square of current, resistance and time. I repeat, heat produced in a conductor is proportional to square of current, resistance and time. Okay. So heat produced in a conductor is proportional to the square of current, resistance and time for which current flows. So we'll see that equation. H, that is nothing but the heat generated, that is equals to I square RT. So I square, I representing the flow of electric current through the conductor, R is the resistance of the conductor in ohms, and T will be the time. So that the Joule's law states that heat produced in a conductor is proportional to the square of current, resistance and the time for which it flows or for which the current flows. Okay. So we'll move to next question, the SI units. So you have to by heart and practice these SI units. It's very much important. So SI units of the following. So for current, ampere is the SI unit. So for current, ampere. So for ampere, you can represent it in capital A. So current SI unit is ampere, A. Then voltage, volt. So volt is the SI unit of voltage, represented in V. And resistance, ohm. So ohm is the SI unit of resistance, will be represented by the symbol ohm. Okay. The charge SI unit is coulomb, represented by capital C. Then resistivity, it is by ohm meter. So resistance is ohm. So see the differences. Resistance is ohm and resistivity is ohm meter. Okay. So by the symbol ohm meter. Okay. Then heat SI unit is joule, represented by J. Electric power, represented by watt, W. So W is the SI unit of electric power. Then commercial unit of electric energy. So commercially or commercial unit of electric energy is given by kilowatt hour. So kWh, then power of lens, diopter, D, then work it is by SI unit joule. SI unit of work is joule represented by J. So these are few of the SI units of some of the following. Okay, we'll see the next. What is resistance? So resistance with some aspects is given here. What is resistance? On what factor does the resistance of a conductor depends? See here the definition. It is a split question. So the question is given in two aspects, means the two questions is added here. One is what is resistance, the one more is on what factor does the resistance of a conductor depends. So in a single line you can answer this one. The opposition offered for the flow of current. So resistance means the opposition offered for the flow of current. Okay, so the opposition offered for the flow of current is called as resistance. On what factor does this resistance of the conductor depends? Means the length of the conductor, the area of cross section, nature of material, then temperature of conductor. So the length of conductor, area of cross section, nature of material and temperature of conductor. So these are the factors which resistance of a conductor depends. Okay, so this can also be given like resistivity of your wire, which is given by R is equal to PL by A. So R is equal to PL by A means R is the resistivity, so the resistivity of the material, and P, so the R is equal to resistivity, P it is the resistivity of the material, then L it is the length of your wire, and A is the area of cross section. So resistance is equal to resistivity of the material, length of the material, and A will be area of cross section. Okay, then next question, what is rancidity? So what is rancidity and how to avoid rancidity? See the question, what is rancidity, how to avoid rancidity? The oxidation of fats and oils when exposed to air. Oxidation of fats and oils when exposed to air, it is nothing but rancidity. So these are the keywords. You can derive this answer also. Okay, so only the key aspects I have given here. So for the examination point of view, for quick revision, what is rancidity, how to avoid rancidity means the oxidation of fats and oils when exposed to air. If you want to derive the same answer means the food items made up of fats and oils, when they get exposed to the atmospheric conditions or air, they undergo oxidation and they changes their taste and smell, and that process is called as rancidity. Okay, this is the derivation of this answer. Even you can write that, or else you can write it only the oxidation of fats and oils when exposed to air. So this much is also enough. This is a quick revision, that's why I have told you it is a passing content. Okay, how can you prevent rancidity means by using antioxidants, or you can fill it by nitrogen gas, or by keeping them in airtight containers. So these are the methods how you can prevent rancidity. So by using antioxidants, by flushing with nitrogen gas, and keeping them or storing them in airtight containers. Okay, next, write the functions of auxin hormone. So write the function of auxin hormone. So functions, will see what do the auxin hormone, or what is the role of auxin. So auxin is a plant hormone. So we'll see how it helps in plants. So we know that there are growth promoters and growth inhibitors. So auxin is a growth promoter. Okay, so it helps in elongation of cells and helps in bending of stem towards light. So as it is a growth promoter, helps in cell elongation and bending of stem towards the light. So this is the function of auxin. Okay, then what is the function of gibberellins? So we'll see what is the function of gibberellins. Gibberellins, as even this is a growth promoter, it promotes seed germination and it also helps in growth of stem and flowers. So gibberellins is also one of the plant hormone which is of growth promoter, which helps in promotion of seed germination and helps to growth of stem and flowers. Okay. Next, write the functions of cytokinins. So we'll see what is the function of cytokinin. Even this is a plant hormone. It helps in cell division. It helps in rapid cell division of seeds and fruits. It helps in opening of stomata during daytime. So the same thing they may ask you, which plant hormone is responsible for opening of stomata during daytime. So that is cytokinin. So cytokinin helps in opening of stomata during daytime. Okay. So we'll move to next question. Write the functions of abscisic acid. So abscisic acid, it is a growth inhibitors. Inhibitor means which checks the growth. So we'll see the function of abscisic acid. It prevents seed germination. Prevent means it stops the seed germination. It checks the seed germination. Okay. It causes wilting of leaves. So it causes wilting of leaves. It helps in closing of stomata during night time. Okay. Abscisic acid helps in closing of stomata during night time. See here, they may ask you this question in two ways. So for multiple choice. So for example, the question may be like this. Which plant hormone is responsible for causing wilting of leaves? Abscisic acid. Abscisic acid causes wilting of leaves. Or they may ask you, which plant hormone helps in closing of stomata during night time? So closing of stomata takes place during night time due to the abscisic acid. Okay. Next question. So we'll see what are stomata. Write its functions. So stomata means they are the small pores present between the guard cells. A tiny pore, a small pore, a small gap or a tiny space present between the guard cell is called as stomata. What is the help of stomata means? It helps in exchange of gases. It helps in exchange of gases and it also regulates the transpiration. Okay. What are stomata? Write its function means a small pores present between the guard cells is stomata and that helps in exchange of gases and it also helps in regulation of transpiration. Okay. So we'll move to the next question. What are guard cells? So what are guard cells? Look here. What are guard cells? Write its functions. So what are guard cells? Write its function. So we'll see the answer. A bean-shaped cells present under the leaves. So a bean-shaped cells present under the leaves is called as guard cells. So as we know the structure of stomata right now, so there will be a two bean-shaped structures. These right like this. So these are called as guard cells. Okay. And this space or a tiny pore we call it as stomata. Okay. Now stoma, this is stoma or stomatal pore. Then these two bean shaped structures are nothing but guard cells. Okay. And here there will be the cells epidermis like this. Okay. Now a bean shaped cells present under the leaves is called as guard cells and it help in opening and closing of stomata. So these guard cells helps in opening and closing of stomata. Next, what is neutralization reaction? Give example. So we'll see what is neutralization reaction. Neutralization means the reaction between acid and base to form salt and water. So acid base to form salt and water is nothing but neutralization. So the reaction between the acid and base to form salt and water. Okay. So the reaction between acid and base to form salt and water is nothing but neutralization reaction. An example, a simple example is given. Hydrochloric acid HCl plus, it is an acid, hydrochloric acid is an acid, so HCl plus NaOH, it is a sodium hydroxide, a base. Hydrochloric acid plus sodium hydroxide gives rise to sodium chloride, it is a salt, plus H2O, water. So the reaction between acid and base to form salt and water is nothing but neutralization reaction. Is it clear? So we'll move to the next one. What are alkalis? So what are alkalis? The bases which are soluble in water is called alkalis. You can also say it as the soluble bases are nothing but alkalis. Okay, so the bases which are soluble in water are called as alkalis. Next, the difference was between arteries and veins. So we'll see the difference between arteries and veins. Arteries, they carry oxygenated blood from heart to various part of our body. Arteries function is to carry oxygenated blood. Arteries carry oxygenated blood from heart to various part of our body. Veins carry deoxygenated blood from various parts to heart. Okay, how you can remember means arteries heart to various part, veins various part to heart. Arteries are oxygenated, veins are deoxygenated. Okay, then arteries has thick and elastic wall, but veins have thin elastic wall. Arteries with thick elastic wall, veins with thin elastic wall. Arteries, they has no valves, veins they has valves. So why means in arteries the blood flows with pressure. So to withstand with pressure they have thick wall and elasticity, and they don't have any valves. So valves they don't have. Why it means? Because they go with pressure, they moves with pressure, so that there is no chances of backflow. But in veins the blood flows slowly. Flows slowly means there is no pressure will be created. So hence, as the veins, the blood flow will not be exerting pressure, they have thin and elastic walls, and it has a valve. So why valves means? Because to prevent the backflow of blood, so they have valves. Okay, next, what is oxidation reaction? So oxidation reaction means the process of either gaining of oxygen or losing of hydrogen. So either oxygen is added or oxygen is gained, hydrogen is lost. So addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen, you can say, or the process where gain of oxygen or loss of hydrogen. Example, C plus O2 CO2. See here, carbon gains oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So this is oxidation, means it gains oxygen or it adds oxygen, addition of oxygen takes place. So that is oxidation. See here, sulfur plus oxygen, sulfur dioxide, addition of oxygen. So this is oxidation reaction. The process either gaining of oxygen or losing of hydrogen, or addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen is called as oxidation. So the next one, reduction. What is reduction? Reduction reaction means the process of either gaining of hydrogen, losing of oxygen. So what you write for oxidation, the opposite for oxidation is nothing but reduction. So in oxidation you will say that oxygen is gained or addition of oxygen, but in reduction you will say the process either gaining of hydrogen means addition of hydrogen. You will add hydrogen in reduction reaction. So for example, see here, cupric oxide, copper oxide plus hydrogen gives rise to copper plus water. Oxygen is removed, so that is nothing but oxygen is removed means it is a reduction reaction. See here, in copper oxide oxygen will be removed by adding hydrogen, so that it becomes Cu plus H2O. The same way, one more example, lead oxide plus carbon. So in lead oxide plus carbon, lead oxide oxygen will be removed and carbon will be added, oxygen. Okay, so this is what removal of oxygen is nothing but reduction. Okay, so we'll move to the next question. What is corrosion? How to avoid corrosion? The process of spoilage of metal when exposed to air, moisture and acid. See, most frequently asked question, what is corrosion? How to avoid corrosion? So what is corrosion means? The process of spoilage of metal exposed to air, moisture and acid. So the process of spoilage of metal when exposed to air, moisture and acid is nothing but corrosion. How can you prevent it? Means by oiling, by painting, by galvanizing, by making alloys, by greasing, and by electroplating. So these are the methods to prevent corrosion. So what is corrosion? How can you prevent corrosion? Means corrosion is a process of spoilage of metal when exposed to the air, moisture and acid. How to prevent corrosion means by oiling, painting, galvanizing, alloying, greasing, electroplating. So these are the methods to prevent corrosion. Okay. Next question. What is galvanization? So what is galvanization means? It is a process of coating zinc on iron. So coating zinc on iron is nothing but galvanization. So for iron articles, the zinc coating will be done. So this coating process of zinc to iron is nothing but galvanization. Okay. Next question. Why reuse is better than recycle? So why reuse is better than recycle means it is a general question. You can just think it of and answer. Because recycle requires energy. So to do recycle, it needs energy. But to reuse, no energy is required. So that's why reuse is better than recycle. Then what is plasma? Write its functions. So what is plasma? Write its functions. Plasma is a colorless part of blood. It transports food, carbon dioxide and waste materials. Plasma transports food, carbon dioxide and waste materials. Next question. Why silver chloride and silver bromide is kept in dark bottles? Most frequently asked questions for give reasons. Why? Why means silver chloride and silver bromide is kept in dark bottles because to avoid decomposition reaction. Silver chloride and silver bromide undergoes decomposition, photolytic decomposition. So to avoid the decomposition reaction, they are stored under dark bottles. Okay. Next question. Next question. Define electric power. So define electric power. The rate of consumption of electric energy. So the rate of consumption of electric energy is nothing but electric power. Okay. So the power equations, P is equal to VI. So P is equal to VI, where P is a power, V is voltage in volts and I will be current in ampere. So there are three power equations. So one is P is equal to VI, P is equal to I square R. So P is equal to I square R. As you know that P is power, I is the current in ampere and R will be resistance. Again P is equal to V square by R. So P is a power, V is a voltage in volts by R it is a resistance. So this is the electric power definition. So the rate of consumption of electric energy. So what is power means? Electric power is the rate of consumption of electric energy. So we'll move to the next question. What is solenoid? Write the pattern of magnetic field line inside a solenoid. So we'll see what is solenoid. What is the pattern of magnetic field line inside the solenoid? So a coil of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped in the shape of cylinder. So a coil of many circular turns means it comes like this. Okay. So in a circular turns. Okay. Like this. So a coil of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped in a shape of cylinder. So wrapped in a shape of cylinder, that we call it as solenoid. So what is solenoid mean? A coil of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped in the shape of a cylinder. And it will be, what is the pattern of magnetic field lines inside a solenoid means we know that it will be like this, no? It will be parallel, uniform and parallel like this. Okay. Magnetic field lines will be uniform and parallel. Next question. Write the functions of RBC. RBC is red blood cells. What is the function of red blood copper cells means it carries oxygen to every cell and removes carbon dioxide from every cell. So function of RBC is to carry oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. Okay, is it clear? Which carries oxygen means RBC. Which removes carbon dioxide means RBC only. So function of RBC is to carry oxygen to each and every cell, and in the simultaneously it removes CO2 from the cell also. Then functions of WBC, it acts as a body defense and fight against disease causing microorganisms. So it acts like a defense mechanism to our body, and it kills and it fights against the germs. Disease causing microbes means they are nothing but germs or pathogens. Okay. Functions of platelets, help in clotting of blood. See here I have given a very simple functions of each of them. RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC help in carrying oxygen to each and every cell, simultaneously removes carbon dioxide. WBC acts as a defense mechanism and fight against the germs. Platelets help in clotting of blood. Next, what is displacement reaction? A reaction in which more reactive element displaces less reactive element. So displacement means where more reactive element displaces the less reactive element is nothing but displacement reaction. For example, iron plus copper sulfates, iron sulfate plus copper, zinc plus iron sulfate, zinc sulfate plus iron. Okay. Next, what are antioxidants? So antioxidants means a substance which avoids rancidity. So we know that rancidity is an oxidation. So which avoids oxidation is nothing but antioxidants. Anti means against. So which acts against the oxidations, that nothing but antioxidants. Okay. Next, differences between pepsin and rennin. Pepsin, these are the enzymes, pepsin and trypsin. Okay. So differences between pepsin and trypsin. So we'll see. Pepsin acts in acidic medium. Trypsin acts in alkaline medium. Pepsin secreted in stomach. Trypsin secreted in small intestine. Pepsin secreted by gastric gland. Trypsin secreted by pancreas. Okay. Next, define electric current. The rate of flow of charges. In simple terms, what is electric current means? It is the rate of flow of charges. You can say electric charges also. Okay, the rate of flow of electric charges like electrons through a conductor. Okay, that we call it as electric current. Define 1 ampere. So 1 ampere means 1 coulomb of. So define 1 ampere means 1 coulomb of charge flows in 1 second. Okay, so 1 coulomb of charge flows in 1 second is 1 ampere. So 1A is equal to 1 coulomb divided by 1 second. So 1 coulomb of charge flows in 1 second is nothing but 1 ampere. Next, what is ammeter? How is it connected? So ammeter means it is an instrument used to measure the current. Instrument used to measure the current is ammeter, and it is always connected in series. Okay, so ammeter is connected in series. Next, voltmeter. How is it connected? Voltmeter means an instrument used to measure the voltage. Instrument used to measure the voltage is voltmeter. So voltmeter measures the voltage and it is connected in parallel always. Okay, so voltmeter in parallel, ammeter in series. Then define 1 volt. So 1 volt means if 1 joule of work done to move 1 coulomb of charge. So 1 joule of work done to move 1 coulomb of charge is nothing but 1 volt. So 1 volt is equal to 1 joule by 1 coulomb. Okay. Next question. Write the properties of magnetic field lines. So the properties of magnetic field lines, most frequently asked question. Write the properties of magnetic field lines. They are continuous closed loop. They never intersect each other. They emerges from north pole and merges at south pole. Okay. Their strength will be more at the poles than at the center. So these are the properties of magnetic field lines. So one is they are continuous closed loops. They never intersect each other. They emerges from north pole and merges at south pole. Then their strength will be more at the poles than at the center. Right? Next, differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So we'll see what are the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. This is also most frequently asked question. Aerobic respiration takes place in presence of oxygen. Anaerobic takes place in absence of oxygen. Aerobic takes place in cytoplasm and mitochondria. Anaerobic takes place only in cytoplasm. Aerobic respiration releases more energy. Anaerobic respiration releases less energy. The end products of aerobic respirations are carbon dioxide and water. End product of anaerobic respiration is ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. The differences between series and parallel circuit. So what is the difference between the series and parallel circuit? We'll see. So the first one, current will be same at each resistor. So when the circuit is connected in series, current will be same at each resistors. But in parallel, the current will be divided at each resistor. Then in series, voltage will be divided at each resistor. Current will be same, but voltage will be divided in series. But in parallel, current will be divided, voltage will be same at each resistor. Okay, is it clear? Next, in series, total circuit resistance increases. So as the total circuit resistance increases in the series, total circuit resistance decreases in the parallel. Okay, so like this. So or in series, it will be resistance, as you keep on adding, it increases. So in series it increases, but in parallel it decreases. So resistance in parallel, it is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4, like this. As in parallel circuit, it keep on decreases. Next question. Write the functions of cerebrum. So the functions of cerebrum, what are the functions of cerebrum, they may ask. It is a thinking part of brain. See here, the question may arises the different ways. They may ask the direct question like what are the functions of cerebrum, or they may ask in multiple part also, multiple choice question part. The thinking part of brain is like this, they may give the options. Okay, so now we will see the functions of cerebrum. The functions of cerebrum, as it is a thinking part of brain, it maintains the mental abilities, receives sensory information from various organs. It is a seat of conscious, memory, imagination, intelligence and reasoning. So this is the function of cerebrum. It is a thinking part of brain. It maintains the stability or mental abilities, receives sensory information from various organs. It is a seat of conscious, seat of memory, imagination, intelligent, reasoning. So these are all possible because of cerebral part. Okay. So this completes the 50 questions of this passing package content 1. Okay. So far in this video we have answered successfully the 50 questions. The number of questions is 50. So in the next video I'll discuss with the remaining questions. So thank you.